Warm greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans on this Thursday, one day shy of the weekend. Thank you all so much for joining me. Countdown to New Orleans. Amen. Thank you all so much for the support, the kind words, following the content. Thank you so much. As most of you know, this month marks 2 years I came to the YT bringing content pertaining to breaking news, various stories and topics, my opinion. And this is a commentary channel. No fluff, no frills. Amen. And I'm still hanging in there. And I want to thank you all who have supported the Queen from day one and those who came along for the journey along the way. Thank you. Hello, Dime a Dozen. Hello, Olivia B. I will be bringing you two sources of information pertaining to Champlain Tower South. This is a horrific event. And I think I was just, I don't even have the words. I was more stunned when I was reading the people who were calling into 911 on that fateful morning to describe what was going on to the dispatch in Florida. I can't even imagine, hello everybody, what it would be like to not know what's going on in my apartment building, not knowing that that may be my final hour of living, and I'm assuming that something has hit the building or there's an earthquake or whatever the situation is. It's the not knowing. And I guess sometimes that's probably best. It's the not knowing, because do you really want to see it coming? And right now we would never have an idea of what these people were going through who were awake at the time the building collapsed in Florida. And I will bring you this commentary. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Trying to decide. Hold on one second. I'm going to go back out. I'm going to read you the first information pertaining to the 911 calls. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Amen. This is by the Miami Herald. They are screaming. They are stuck. Police release 911 calls from Surfside condo collapse. This was uploaded 17 hours ago. The first few calls to 911 started at 1:16 a.m., and there was little urgency. A woman calmly reported she heard an explosion. An alarm company noted a fire alarm had sounded. But within minutes, as water was gushing through the parking garage over the pool deck and dropping chunks of concrete, the scope of the unfolding disaster at Surfside Champlain Tower South began to emerge. Caller after caller began frantically relaying their stories to emergency dispatchers. One woman could be heard saying, "It's an earthquake outside." "Holy SHIT, we got to get out of here. Hurry up, hurry up. There's a big explosion," one man told 911. He couldn't describe what exactly was happening. "I don't know. There's a lot of smoke going in. I can't see right now. Got to get out of here. Got to get out of here." When the operator asked if a bridge collapsed, the man responded, "No, a building." The 911 operator repeated, "A building," sounding shocked herself. The Miami-Dade Police Department on Wednesday released a batch of 911 calls from the Surfside condo collapse that killed at least 96 people. The calls offer a window into the harrowing first moments during and after the June 24th collapse of Champlain Tower South, one of the deadliest building failures in U.S. history. This 12-story, 136-unit building collapsed in the middle of the night, killing at least 96 residents and visitors as they slept in a cascade of concrete and steel. By 1:25 a.m., the building collapse was complete. The east side portion of the structure having pancaked on itself in an unprecedented fashion. 1:25. So imagine, at 1:25 it had collapsed, and the first calls came in at 1:16. So that is a 9-minute window of horror. Lord help me, Jesus. The 911 calls flooded in. At 1:25 a.m., resident from Unit 505 described a panic scene of neighbors and family members scrambling down blocked staircases, detouring around the flooded parking garage. The caller, Louis Tinoco, said the garage was quickly filling with debris. Tinoco, his wife, and son, John, made their way to the second floor, but were still 20 or 30 feet off the ground. There are people in the rubble yelling, he said. In the background, faint screams of help could be heard. They are screaming, they are stuck, he said. Is it safe for us to stay here? He knocked on doors of neighbors in an attempt to assess the side of the building that faces Collins Avenue. Nobody is opening, he said. If there is a safe way to get through a first floor balcony and you know no one is in the condos, break through the door if you can, the operator suggested. Eventually, Tinoco and his family made it on the top of the rubble, Tinoco said. Come on, you can do it, he said, encouraging his family. Go, 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 John. We're going to the beach. We're going to the beach. Also at 1:25 a.m., a woman who escaped her Champlain Tower South condo called 911 in tears from the street outside. She was so rattled she couldn't remember her own phone number. The woman said she woke up because I was hearing some noise and looked outside to see the building starting to collapse. I could not understand what was happening. I looked outside and I saw the pool area started sinking down, she said. There are many parts of the building that went down. The building went into a sinkhole. There will be many, many people dead. In the background, people wailed, oh my God, oh my God. She continued, oh my God, the whole building collapsed. Dispatchers warned people who had climbed down to not return to their units. A caller from 8888 Collins Avenue, an apartment building across the street from Champlain Tower South, called to report the building completely smoking. She said she didn't see the fire, just a lot of smoke. There are people inside, she said. I see the lights on. It looks like a building went under the ground. Another woman breathlessly told dispatchers she had made it to the parking lot. Half the building collapsed, she said. Can someone help me get out, please? The collapse spurred on an unprecedented search and rescue mission, complicated by unstable conditions and stormy weather in the days following the tragedy. A portion of the tower that remained standing had to be demolished on July 4th, allowing teams to reach a greater portion of the site. The calls were released by Miami-Dade Police, which is spearheading the investigation into the deaths. Another 11 people remain unaccounted for, police say. The probe into why the building collapsed is being conducted by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, the federal agency that investigated the collapse of the New York City's Twin Towers in 2001. That is the said information by the Miami Herald. Thank you all so much for joining me. Oh, Lord help me, Jesus. There's no words. Oh, God. The next source is CNN. Thank you for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you so very much. God bless you. All super chats are welcome during the live. The death toll in the Surfside condo collapse has risen to 97. This was uploaded 4:24 a.m. this morning. Rescue crews have recovered 97 bodies from the rubble of the Surfside, Florida building collapse, and though they have made great progress, there's still more work to be done. And please know that this is an ongoing story, so the numbers will change depending on how many people they believe are left to be recovered from the debris. The remains of Champlain Tower South, once too risky for heavy machinery and threatened by the remaining structure looming over rescuers, is now nearly level to the ground as excavators remove piles of debris. According to Miami-Dade County, more than 22 million pounds of concrete and debris have been removed. Although there's no longer hope of finding survivors in the rubble, crews have been working nearly nonstop since the collapse on June 24th, aside from the intermittent issues related to dangerous conditions brought by the weather and shifting debris. Officials in the area promised victims' families to work diligently until all of their loved ones are recovered, a task that is becoming more time-sensitive. The process of making identifications has become more difficult as time goes on, Miami-Dade County Mayor Cava said. We must rely heavily on the work of the medical examiner's office to identify human remains. The process is very methodical and it's careful, and it does take time, she said. In the search, 240 people are accounted for. 97 victims have been recovered, 90 of which have been identified, and 88 next of kin have been notified, a release from Miami-Dade County said. 8 people remain unaccounted for, and all of them have open missing persons report with the Miami-Dade Police Department. The site has been both a place of taxing work and solemn reunion. The tragedy has affected victims from multiple Latin American countries, including Colombia, Venezuela, Uruguay, and Paraguay. Surfside, a small, eclectic town of about 6,000 people, is also home to a large population of Orthodox Jews. Following the collapse, when families were reuniting, it was common to hear a mix of conversations in Hebrew, Spanish, English, and Portuguese. The diverse community came together, attempting to grasp for strength and faith. Synagogues and churches opened their arms for emergency prayer services after the collapse. Vigils were held for the missing, and many prayed, sobbed, and hugged with the tower's ruins visible in the background. It is obvious that this has become more than a collapsed building site. It is a holy site, Surfside Mayor Charles Burkett said earlier this week. Frantic 911 calls from the first moments of the collapse. The 911 calls during the first moments of the deadly collapse revealed chaos and confusion among residents and witnesses as the building came down. It seems like something underground. Everything exploded, one caller told dispatchers, adding that it seemed like an earthquake. Another caller who told dispatchers they were in the parking garage begged for help. I know the police are here already. Can somebody help me get out, please? The caller pleaded. I was able to escape, but I'm outside in the parking lot. If the building comes down, it will come down on my head. One caller told dispatchers her sister lived in the building, but was confused as to what happened and how people would get rescued. I don't know if something happened to it, but half of the building's not there anymore, the caller said. There's two people. They're alive, but they can't get out because there's no building on the other side of their apartment. CNN obtained and transcribed these frantic phone calls about 3 weeks after Champlain Towers South came down. Collapse spurs views of building safety. The deadly collapse has spurred reviews of building safety across South Florida as officials and residents scramble to figure out the vulnerability of aging structures. Miami-Dade requires building owners to hire an engineer to inspect their structures every 10 years after they turn 40, a requirement first passed after a collapse of a Miami office building in 1974 that killed 7 people. Champlain Tower South was set to hit that 40-year mark this year. The latest city to conduct a review is Boca Raton, a city with a population of close to 100,000, where Mayor Scott Singer said Tuesday his city council is planning to institute a building recertification process that is similar to protocols in Miami-Dade and Broward counties. But Singer noted that there will be key differences, including a shorter timeline to recertify buildings and greater reporting requirements. The mayor added that officials are considering requiring buildings to be recertified after 30 years or fewer, but the details will be discussed further in the next few weeks as the city county introduces the measure. Our staff has been doing comprehensive inventory of our buildings, but not to serve only family residences, but also our commercial buildings, to figure out what's the most appropriate, Singer said at the live stream town meeting Tuesday. I thought it was very important that we be proactive, that we put in more stringent requirements, and we ensure people that we're taking greater steps for their safety. Boca Raton is located 38 miles up the Atlantic coast from Surfside. Shortly after the collapse, Levine Cava, the Miami-Dade County mayor, said officials will be reviewing buildings over 40 years old and more than 5 stories tall, making sure everything is in order with proper certification. In nearby Sunny Isles Beach, Vice Mayor Larissa, Saveshian, said inspections in older condo buildings would start immediately, and the city of Miami sent a letter to buildings urging new inspections for those more than 6 stories tall and more than 40 years old. CNN is the source of this said information. And as I said, this is an ongoing investigation, and the numbers will change depending on when they pull out someone from the rubble. Right now, it stands at 97 persons retrieved from this ordeal. One second. I'll play something for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, John. Hello, everybody in the chat.
Tense moments following that collapse. I can tell you that in the days following the collapse, we learned from dispatch audio what the police officers, the first responders, were seeing as they approached the building. Some of them describing it as resembling the World Trade Center after 9/11. This is the first time that we're actually listening to those intense moments from the people that were inside this building that wanted to get out, and also from individuals in the surrounding buildings that were seeing the collapse, that witnessed this. I can tell you that some of these recordings are disturbing. They're difficult to listen to. Some of these individuals describe that they saw the garage collapse, that they're inside, and that they can see police officers outside. They describe the sounds of an earthquake. Again, it's difficult to listen to. Take a listen. What's going on? Tell me exactly what happened. I don't know. There's a lot of smoke going on. I can't see the street right now. You see the smoke? Sir. Where are we going? We gotta go. Keep going. Hello? Hello? Yes, I'm here. What are you saying? I can't see nothing but smoke. It seemed like something underground, everything exploded down at 8777 Collins. Okay, Avenue. Oh my God. Ma'am, the operator died. Is anyone injured? Oh my God. That's okay. Wow. We're on the way out there. We later learned from officials that 35 people were pulled alive from the standing building. 2 people were pulled alive from the rubble. The days following it, the world watched, looking and waiting for a miracle. Wolf, no one would be pulled alive from that rubble in the days that followed. I just got off the phone with Miami-Dade Police Department. They tell me that the death toll stands at 96. 11 people are still unaccounted for.
Okay, that's that information by CNN News. Thank you all for joining me. I just brought you 2 sources of information pertaining to the collapse of Champlain Towers South in Surfside, Florida. When I brought you all content, I believe it was yesterday, there was mention of what to do with the building. People saying they would go back. I didn't address that in my live yesterday because, sometimes I get a little scatterbrained when I'm reading the information. Why would you want to go back there to that site? Why in the world would you want to go back to that site where people lost their lives and fought tooth and nail to get out, and others died in the rubble, and first responders had to go into the belly of the beast and look for dead people? Why would you ever want to go back there if they rebuild? F that building and that site. Don't put nothing there. You want to put something there? Yes, put a memorial, park benches, flower beds. Just leave it as is. Leave it alone. And I don't know why anybody would care about having a view of the water after this horrific event. You're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to feel what you want as a victim, a displaced resident. But I'm an outsider looking in, and there's no way I'd want to be anywhere near that address after God spared me to come out of there. That's just my opinion. And if I was a newcomer or been in an area and they rebuild that building, I still would not want to live on top of that ground. Period. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. I'm going to look for something else I had found. Just a second. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. Okay. I'm trying to find this article. Thank you all so much for joining me. It's been approved that this site can be sold. This said site, as I said, why anybody would want to be anywhere near this building is a mystery to me. I don't understand the mindsets of people. But anyway, okay. I'm trying to make sure I get all the information. This is by Local 10 News. Surfside building collapse. Victims' relatives react to judge allowing process to sell property. Updated 2:17 a.m. this morning. Martin Legsfield is grieving the loss of his 26-year-old sister and his 28-year-old brother-in-law. Crews recovered the remains a week ago. On Wednesday, he was in disbelief when he learned a judge approved the sale of the property where so many perished. Nicole Legsfield and Louis Sadovnik, had lived at Champlain Tower South Unit 804 in Surfside. Their families were outraged when Miami-Dade County Circuit Judge Michael Huntsman approved the sale of the land for commercial use. The search and recovery operation continued at the site of the former 12-story building at 8777 Collins Avenue when Huntsman ordered that the selling process begin, with the official death toll rising to nearly 100 victims. Several families said the Oceanside property where the June 24th tragedy happened should be a memorial. Some developer could come here and build a building on top of this within a few months, and everything is forgotten, Lakesfield 23 said Wednesday. Okay. Oh, mercy. And in this article, you will see a set picture of the decedents in this article. A developer could still be required to build a memorial in part of the property. Court records indicate the property is valued at $100 to $110 million, the Associated Press reported. For nearly a month, the property has been Miami-Dade County's epicenter of despair. This is obviously a case where there's no amount of money that could possibly be available to compensate these families for their suffering and loss, Huntsman said. Huntsman added, there's no money in the world that can pay for the damages caused, but the law places value on claims, and these claims are going to have to be valued. Huntsman also said that aggregate value of the claims that the law will place on them is going to far exceed all amounts available for recovery, both by way of insurance proceeds, assets, and third-party claims. We aren't a case number, Lakesfield said. We lost humans. We lost family members, loved ones. Attorney Michael Goldberg, the court-appointed receiver who was tasked with dispersing insurance payments, told the Associated Press that Huntsman was exploring a potential sale contingent on making sure the proceeds benefit the victims. It feels like every day there's a new roadblock, but this one is inhumane, Lakesfield said about the judge's decision. The 136-unit condominium, was built in 1981. After engineers reported in 2018 that the building had major structural damage, the Building Association reported Rosendo Ross Prieto, the former town's chief building official, had reviewed the report and determined it was in very good shape. About 2 months before the collapse, the president of the association informed residents the damage reported in 2018 had worsened and the cost of repairing it had ballooned, and there was a proposal for a $15 million special assessment. A lot of this work could have been done or planned for in years gone by, Gene Watnicki, the condo association president, wrote. Huntsman also ordered the return of $2.4 million in payments residents had made towards the $15 million needed in special assessment to begin the repairs of the building. Amen. So at least for those who are living, they will get $2.4 million back in payments they put toward the $15 million agreed to repair the building back in April. On the morning of the tragedy, a 911 caller said there was a group who thought the roof had collapsed when they ran out of their apartments and got trapped in the parking garage. They didn't know the residents of the northern section were trapped in a compact mountain of pancake concrete. We're going back up to our apartments, but some of the hallways are blocked and there's water coming in through to the bottom through the garage, said the 911 caller. Miami-Dade fire rescue personnel evacuated survivors from the balconies of what was left standing of the building. The search and rescue operation went on day and night despite intermittent storms and spontaneous fires. Families waited in anguish. They found bodies and human remains. Witnesses saw a Miami veteran firefighter hold his little girl after Florida Task Force 2 Miami pulled her body out of the rubble. 7-year-old Stella Catarasi died with her mother, aunt, and maternal grandparents. Many other families mourn more than one relative. On the 4th of July, while other areas of Miami-Dade had fireworks displays, engineers monitored the demolition of Champlain Tower South ruins. This sped up the search and recovery mission that followed after thunderstorms that stemmed from Tropical Storm Elsa. There have been tens of thousands tons of concrete and metal removed from the site. Maggie Castro, a firefighter and paramedic, is a spokeswoman for MDFR. On Wednesday, she said the rain continues to slow down the recovery operation. The rubble that's being removed now is from the building we purposely collapsed days after the event, Castro said. Right now, the biggest issue is the weather. We have a lot of water accumulation, so we're attempting to de-water the area. The ramifications of the tragedy are far from over. So right now, the death toll at Surfside stands at 97. A forensic engineer hired by Surfside sidelined and pissed off. Judge approves the sale of this condo, and a casket of a nanny killed in the condo collapse returns to Paraguay. In this said article, you will see all the decedents' names and the days that they were recovered from the rubble in this said article by Channel 10 News. This is bad. Really bad. Thank you all for joining me.
What was the Champlain Tower South into Champlain Tower South into a memorial to the victim.
I don't know why these articles overlap each other. I don't know why they have these videos in here and they overlap each other. But anyway, there's a video inside, but obviously it's not trying to play. Let me see if this other one will play. This is from Martin Langsfield, one of the relatives who lost his family inside of this Surfside. Thank you. Yes, this is a tragedy. And the fact that somebody wants to build on top of this dirt, sand, or whatever you want to call it, it's baffling to me. Shouldn't build anything there until you find out what happened. Why in the world? I don't know why these articles will not play. It's very weird. Anyway, there's video in here, but they're overlapping each other. Thank you all so much for joining me. Like I said, you do what you want. Whoever is alive and you made it out the rubble, you choose to move back to that location, that's on you if they decide to put another condo there. As I said, I personally wouldn't care to look in that direction. There's too much land in America to find a decent place to lie your head at night. And you will get compensation from this. 9 times out of 10, you will get a lawyer and also sue the insurance company. You'll never probably have to work another day in your life after you finally get all your payments from being a resident and or family member that lost somebody in this tragic event. I wouldn't give a damn about that address. I wouldn't give a damn about ever looking at that beach. I think after that, I wouldn't care about ever being near the beach, quite frankly. That's just my opinion. And this happens with lots of people, such as what happened in Katrina. Those people were used to living there. They love Louisiana, but it's common sense. Why do I want to live in a place that could flood again? People who worked in the towers probably never want to work in another building that has over 100-something floors. That's expected. probably having the fear of heights after running out of a building that was collapsing. Airplane flew into a building, caught on fire, melting down, about to fall, and you have no idea. And by the grace of God, you made it out. It is these tragic events that causes people to have fear, such as your car rolling into water. You make it out alive. 9 times out of 10, you don't ever want to go in water again. You're on a boat and it falls over. It sinks, but you survive. You will not go back on a boat, a yacht, a cruise ship. It's all the same. And I think that judge moved hastily. The only thing they should be concerned with right now is compensation to the victims' families and those who were able to make it out alive. Why would you care about signing off paperwork to sell this building? First and foremost, very sickening. 2, anyone who lived there wanting to return to another condo in its place. You're crazy as hell. You all haven't even they haven't made a definitive decision, evaluation of the property and how it came down. Why in the world would you, off your own tongue, say, I'd want to move right back there if they built another condo, when they haven't even determined why the damn building fell down? You can't be this crazy. What is it so special about that site? The Miami area has tons of skyboxes that you can go bid on a place. And frankly, I would be scared to bid on another place after what just happened there. I'm just going to keep it real. But as I state, to each its own. Everyone is entitled to his or her own opinion, how he or she wants to live. But there's no way I'd want to go back to that location and live in another condo skybox. Hell no. Prayers for the victims' families. Prayers for those who survived. Prayers for the first responders. Prayers for the community. This is so, like I said, there are no words to even describe looking at the building, watching the building fall. And it's so amazing how things happen where there's always somebody up watching something. Somebody had a view of the building, able to record. Same thing with 9/11. What are the odds that somebody's out filming and they are filming a plane go into a building? What are the odds? Because God says, I got to let there be testimony and visual to the event. And we know over the years, all that footage has been played and replayed. Those planes running into those twin towers in New York City and the collapse of both buildings. And this building pancaked. And when I first saw the first photographs weeks ago, I said to myself, how in the world is somebody going to crawl out of that? Ain't no way. Because even if somebody was down below, which is even more horrific, the thought of that, how could they get out with all those slabs of concrete on top of them? Thank the people who have worked the site to clear the debris, picking up mementos, and pulling out the decedents. God bless you. God bless the medical examiners who are working diligently to do what they need to do to get these people back with their families. Prayers for those who have now the task of burying their loved ones. God bless you. I'll be praying for you. I'm praying for everybody in Surfside and Miami, because this is unbelievable. This is just unbelievable. But what is sickening is what's going to come from all of this. Towers North. Is it even safe to stay in? Its sister building. Frankly, if I lived in Towers North, I would not want to stay in that building either, because what I'd have to say to myself is that it's built on the same soil. It's built with the same products. It was built by the same person, engineers, construction, design, possibly the same. Why in the world would I want to stay here? But like I said, everyone is entitled to his or her own opinion, the way they want to live. And I'm sure there are people who are going to stay there. I do believe I had commentary that some people said they weren't going to leave the North Tower. They felt like it was secure, it was safe. Well, I believe that was the thought of Tower South at one time. But you see what happened to it. It came crumbling down. It came crumbling down. And any building nearby, such as the building across from Tower South, you have a bullseye view of a demolition site. How in the world could you even look out of your window, your balcony, and look at that every day and still want to remain there? I couldn't. I could not. So what will become of Champlain Towers North? What will be the evaluation of that said site, the sister site? What will become of the properties right beside, near Tower South? Will people remain in those said buildings and live there? And what will become of the site? Will it become a memorial site, or will it be sold to somebody who will greedily want to put another structure there, be it high-rise condo or business? We will have to wait and see. I want to thank all of you for joining me. Thank you for those of you who joined the live last night. It was a very interesting live. 2 nights in a row, 3 hours running. I really don't like going that long, but anyway, once I drop the panel, that's usually what happens. It runs over time. I thank you all for watching and listening. I have more content to bring to you later this evening pertaining to the disappearance of Summer Wells. I will be chopping up and dissecting everything that's been said and told. You're welcome to join me in a live discussion pertaining to Miss Wells and all those who have decided to intervene into this diabolical storyline of a missing child. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you so very much. At the moment, when I check my demographics, my analytics rather, I'm at least 7 subscribers short of 7,000 subscribers. God is good. From you all listening to my content, joining in the lives, passing my name along, in the past week and a half, I grew to about 200 subscribers. Thank you so very much. God is good. And he has surely favored a queen. Thank you so much. And thank all of you who keep supporting the queen. You know who you are. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining me on this very warm afternoon in the high 10. As most of you know, there's a lot of content being uploaded to the YT pertaining to Summer Wells. A lot of videos are being uploaded. There were lots of videos that came up just through the night in the queue. And I thought, my God, nobody's sleeping. But naturally, when one person releases information pertaining to a hot story, people jump on the bandwagon and they start uploading content to the YT. So if you check your queue, you will probably see several videos pertaining to Summer Wells and the bio donor giving his commentary pertaining to her disappearance. I will go live with the latest updates that I got notifications from pertaining to her disappearance, and I will bring you that said information tonight. So please join me. I'll try to go on about 9 o'clock, 9:30-ish. That's about the time I'm going to try. So just look for the queen. Just look for the live button. Thank you all so much for joining me. Please go check out my community board. I have a nice little token up there for you. As I state, in this sick world we're in of social media worshiping, I decided to give one of the participants in this story her 5 minutes of fame. And there's a nice picture of her uploaded to my community board. And please, wash your cell phone over and take a good look at what has decided to immerse themselves in the Summer Wells case. You wanted 5 minutes of fame, honey? I gave it to you. And I hope it's worth it to you. Because in the end, we have no damn idea where Summer Wells is. And you all are piggybacking off a baby to make yourself known for whatever reason. You're sick. You're sick and you're disgusting. And you're 1% of what is 1% of nothing in this world. You're a 1%er and a waste of oxygen. Alongside the person or persons that got rid of Miss Summer Wells. I want to thank you all for joining me. God bless all of you. Please stay safe. Please stay hydrated. It's very warm it's warm here in the high 10, and I'm sure it's warm in other parts of the United States. So make sure you drink lots of water and stay out of the sun at all costs. Thank you all so much. When I get more information pertaining to Champlain Tower South, I will bring you that said information. But if you're just now coming into the chat, the death toll now stands at 97. 911 calls have been released to the public as of yesterday, and a judge has signed off on the sale of that said site. And there are people who are making commentary that they would like to purchase a apartment condo if indeed one is built back on that site. And I do believe it should be a memorial site as to pay respect to the deceased. That's the right thing to do. Not another building, condo, not even a commercial building. No type of business. Just a nice little park with grass, the names of the victims, some nice little statues, some flower beds, waterfall or something. That's it. That's enough. But we will see what happens and what the city of Surfside will decide to do and who they will sell the property to and what that said owner will do with the property. Frankly, I think the city should buy it, but I don't know if the city has that type of money because they only have 6,000 residents, allegedly. So that's a big budget because the building is worth, they said, between 100,000 to 100 million to 110 million dollars. Excuse the discrepancy. We will see. We will see what happens. Thank you all for joining me. Join me later live for a discussion of the disappearance of Summer Wells. Amen. This is Everyday Shenanigans.